Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!
If you're watching this video again, it is because I had to re-upload it at Snowprint's request. They had accidentally shared an asset with me that wasn't final, and because they're planning on using this video as the official guide to Guild War, I have to do the re-upload. In this version, I will also go into the team rarities for different battlefield levels, talk a little bit about the rewards, and have a little thank you code to share with you all for liking and commenting like you usually do. Hello friends, if you're watching this video then we're finally in the patch where Guild War will be a playable mode in Tacticus. I've had loads of you message me following the announcement of Guild War and the descriptors in game, wanting a bit more information. I thought I would do a video explaining the mode, how to navigate it, and some of the complexities, along with some gameplay footage. I'll try and keep it short, but everything is timestamped in case you need to come back and watch it. I'm not covering good characters or tactics in this video, this is purely explanatory. However, if there is an appetite, I may do a video on that in the future. So, what is Guild War? Guild War is a game mode that pits your guild against an enemy guild in a battle for supremacy. Each war lasts for 36 hours and has a 24-hour prep period for the following war. You'll expect to have a total of 6 guild wars every season, and these occur over a 2-week period over the second half of the Battle Pass season, as shown on the image. We'll start by taking a look at defense. Every guild defends a battlefield that consists of 15 defensive buildings. Within each defensive building, there are 2 slots for players to house their units. A bit of quick math, 15 buildings with 2 players each, that means that everyone in your 30-man guild should have their own building and slot to put their own units in. Within your defensive slot, you can place 5 teams of units. There is a bit of nuance here. You'll see that when I try and put my characters into one of these slots, each slot is capped at a different rarity. For example, in this first slot, the rarity cap is epic, so all of my characters are automatically downgraded to gold 1. I'll talk more about rarity caps later. Each character can only be placed once on defense. So in order for you to contribute maximally to your guild's defensive effort, you need to have 25 characters. What happens if you don't have 25 characters or you're missing players in your guild? Well, the slot is autofilled by AI-controlled Black Templar units, the same ones that you'll see occupying a slot until you put your own units there. There are a lot of different buildings on the battlefield, and they all aren't created equal. You'll see that for every building there is a score attached to it, 40k for the headquarters up at the top of the screen, and 10k for the frontline buildings at the bottom. This is the score that your opponent gets for defeating all of the teams in that building, thereby destroying it. You're incentivized to score as many points as possible, because the guild that scores the most points wins the war and earns the most rewards. However, there is more to it than just points. Some buildings also provide a benefit to the defender. You can see the artillery position here provides what is called a source buff to this building as well as all adjacent ones. For each instance of the artillery buff, at the start of the battle, 3 artillery shells land on attacking units and each deals 20% of its health in damage. When the building is destroyed, naturally it stops conferring this defender's advantage. When you have a look at the fortified position in the middle of the grid that I'm currently occupying, you can see that it benefits from 3 of these artillery defensive buffs, so that anyone who attacks my units before those artillery positions are destroyed will suffer 9 random hits to their offensive force, each doing 20% health in damage. The next defensive building is the anti-air building. This does 40% damage to all attacking flying units at the start of the battle. Similarly to the artillery position, this is a source buff for this building and all those adjacent to it. When this building falls, so too do the buffs that it provides. For your interest and ease, on this slide are a list of all the flying characters who are currently in the game. The final building is the Medicase Station. This provides a global 60% health boost to all of your defensive troops. This buff is global, so it is provided to your entire defensive battlefield, not just the buildings adjacent. Set up in whatever room you want, but leaders and co-leaders of your guild will be able to reposition you and also move buildings around for strategic dominance. What about offense? Each player starts the war with 10 attack tokens. They don't earn more with time, and that is their entire quota for the entire war. So you don't need to worry about setting timers or spending your attacks within a certain timely fashion. Just attack whenever you can within the 36-hour fight window. This is the test build, so not completely accurate compared to your own gameplay experience. In the real game, you'll only be able to attack buildings at the front and work your way towards the back after a building has been fully destroyed. Whenever you attack and defeat an enemy team, you'll get 2 currencies or points. The first is a war currency that can be used to spend in the war shop. For this battle, we get 30 such currency for every enemy defeated and a total of 150 for killing 5 enemies. The other thing you get is war points added to your guild's running total. Remember that the guild with the most war points wins the war. In this scenario, we get 200 points per killed enemy unit and a further 600 due to our efficiency. The thing to note, however, is that you don't have to use a full team of 5 for every fight. In this next battle, for example, aun'shi takes a solo fight against the defenders. We are attacking into a fortified position that has 3 artillery buffs on it, so we'll take 9 hits. As you'll see, the 9 hits aren't like Thaddeus' active ability. They don't randomly hit hexes and all instead land unerringly on aun'shi, nearly killing him right off the bat. Clearly, you're therefore incentivized to bring multiple units when attacking these particular defensive strongpoints. For the purposes of illustration, aun'shi will lose this battle. For defeating 4 enemy units, we can earn 800 points, so 200 per killed unit. When we clear the base on the next attempt, we get 250 points, 200 points for defeating the last unit, and another 50 points as per the scoring matrix. On the topic of the scoring matrix, you'll notice the single point that you can earn at the bottom of the grid. This is the tiebreaker. The first guild to win a battle in war, that is, clear 5 enemy units first, will win this tiebreaker point. The astute among you will have probably already done the math. There are 30 defending players, each with 5 teams to clear. So 30 into 5 means that you need 150 tickets to clean the enemy up if you attack perfectly. However, as we've already established, each player gets 10 tickets to attack, giving a 30-man guild a full 300 tickets. Therefore, when you full clear an enemy base, their battlefield resets and you get to attack it again. If everything goes absolutely perfectly, you can full clear an enemy battlefield twice with all of your ticket allocation. Depending on your level of interest and engagement, guild wars can be fought on different battlefields. These are tied to your guild level, with higher guild levels needed to access the higher battlefields. As you can see on screen, the higher battlefields give more rewards, but are also tuned at more veteran players. This feeds into the rarity cap that we mentioned earlier. Low-level battlefields will generally have lower rarity caps, like uncommon and rare, where higher battlefields will have epic and legendary caps, so you'll expect to fight harder enemies. The buildings are the same throughout battlefield level. For example, no matter what battlefield level you're on, you will always fight 3 artillery positions. What about rarity? Well, we've already spoken about how different slots have different rarities. For uncommon, this caps your character at bronze 1 and their abilities at level 16. For rare, this caps the character at silver 1 and their abilities at level 26. Epic caps at gold 1 with ability level 35, and legendary is uncapped. If you bring a character above this level, then it scales them down. Items scale down too, but I don't have the specifics on this information at this moment in time. On this slide, you can see what the team rarities look like for different buildings on different battlefield levels. On the far left, you can see that all of the buildings have the same rarity caps, 2 uncommon, 2 rare, and 1 epic. As you move through the battlefield levels, the rarity caps start to increase, and some buildings are harder to take down than others. For example, the HQ and fortified position buildings on Battlefield 5 are full of legendary defense slots. Finally, the rewards, the Guild War shop. This is of course subject to change between the test build and reality, but it looks like you'll be able to primarily get character shards with the resources from this game mode, but also have a way of earning some of the rarer items that you need to farm for Diamond 3 progression. The shop, just like the Guild Raid shop and the Rogue Trader shop, can only be refreshed once per day. A quick word on rewards. We have been told that you will earn 300 to 600 war credits per war win. On top of that, as shown in the gameplay footage, each character kill earns 30 war credits. So if you full clear a team, each ticket can earn you 150 war credits, and with your 10 ticket allocation, up to 1500 tickets per war with perfect play. The caveat to this is that rewards are only earned for the first loop of clearing an enemy base, which rewards early attackers. This potentially creates a problem where guildmate is pitted against guildmate to get their attacks in early, but I've been told that Snowprint is looking at the situation and potential ways to work around this for future iterations. Winning and losing a war also gets participants a chest that includes gold, ability badges, and experience books. In terms of the war shop itself, well, we've had confirmed that the first 2 characters will be Nauseous Rotbone and Morgan Ra, plus a yet undetermined character. Each character shard costs 180 credits, so if you have a so-called perfect war, you can earn just over 11 character shards per war. It also contains Diamond 3 upgrades and some free legendary books. So there you have it, hopefully everything you need to know about war. If you still have questions, feel free to comment below and I'll try my best to answer. Snowprint have been pretty positive in saying that they're listening and adjusting to player feedback, so if there is something that you want to see in this mode, then please comment and let them know. They do read my comments and it's a good way of getting your voice heard. Personally, I'd love to see faction bonuses, incentives for bringing multiple characters from the same faction. We're getting closer and closer to having a good reason to see teams of orcs facing off against teams of Tau, for example, and personally, that's what I came to Tacticus for in the first place. As a thank you code and apology for the re-upload, thanks to Nandi gets you all 50 Blackstone and is valid for about a month from video release. That's all I've got for today. Hopefully I've covered everything you need. If you're a newer player who hasn't yet used their referral code, I would love if you could consider entering mine as shown on screen. It earns you 100 Blackstone and supports me in the work that I do. It is single use though, so choose who you support carefully. Bye for now.
Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi.